Played with many guitarists during my soldiering in Scotland, and I think Phil is one of the finest I've met today, believe it or not. It's all lies, of course. Yes. It's all lies. However,
you'll be after me to buy me a pint next.
Yes, he is a fine guitarist, and a fine musician. He's very dedicated, and that's what I like about him. And this is a real, that used to be whistled by during the time of when you stole a sheep. That's how the saying came, it's good to be hung for a sheep as a lamb. If you stole a loaf of bread in those days, you were transported to Van Diemen's land, and they pierced your left eardrum with some sort of a sharp instrument anyhow. It wasn't a violin bow, I'm quite sure. But however, they used to whistle this, the Irish men, I believe, used to whistle this to one another to let them know their nationality, you see, and whistle this reel. It's known as the flogging reel. They got flogged for whistling it. And they were tied up by their thumbs to the yard arm, and they were flogged. And this is the reel. A bit jazzed up, I'm afraid. Last evening I went down to Roy Williamson's, you all know of him, very fine decent man and a very fine decent woman, and they asked me very fine decent people, and wonderful people. I was there until about 7 o'clock this morning, by the way, at a party, after being at the Kelly Hall, picture off when the boys were playing, and this person asked me how did I like my stay in Scotland, because it's 1932 since I was in Scotland before, by the way. And I'm sure some of them are saying that I hope it'll be another 35 years before I go back again. However, I said, well, I enjoyed every moment of it, I said, but for one thing that marred the whole sunshine, it put a cloud on the sunshine, I said, of my stay in Scotland. I said, they're wonderful people and treated me very well. But I said, one thing, I said, marred the whole thing yesterday. I was walking through Princess Street, I said, and I was looking through a jeweller's window by the name of, I think it's Mackay and Chisholm, I'm not quite sure how you say it here. However, this old lady came up with the policeman, you see, and of course he said, come on. And I said, what's this about? I said, I jumped looking through the window. Oh, this is no yarn, this is death. So he said, oh, you better come, he said. So I said, all right then. I wouldn't argue with those fellas. I might argue with Phil now and again about the tune, but not with those fellas. However, I was brought to the police station in a black van, and the next thing happens, he said, this old lady, he says, charges you with stealing a £5 note on her. Good Christ, I never saw her before in my life, I said. You know, and I didn't. And I was locked up anyhow in the cell, and I said, you madam, you can come to the court in the morning. So she went away, and in about 2 hours' time she came back, and she was awfully sorry. She was all apologies and everything. She said, oh, mister, she said, what am I going to do to recompense you and all the trouble I've caused you and all this thing? I said, it's all right, don't worry about it. And I was really raging now, I was. But anyhow, she said, well, look at, I went back to the jeweller, she said, where I was purchasing some earrings for my grandniece or somebody else, and she said, the attendant gave me the £5 note. She said, he found it where I had opened my bag, and she said, I thought you had taken it because you were standing quite close to me talking to one of the attendants. So I said, well, I didn't, and that's that, and I was, but however, she said, well, you will have to have it. Oh, I said, I don't want it. So the copper came over to me and said, look what he says, Ted, for goodness sake, don't be a damn fool, he said. Take it, he said, we searched you, he said, and all we got on you was 10 bob, he said, and damn it, he said, fine, will be all right, he said, go and take it. He said, I hope you don't hold it against us to go running doing our job. No, I said, I don't hold anything against anybody, which I didn't. But anyhow, he said, you better take it, he says. So he took it off the old lady, put it into my hand, and he folded up my fingers up and he said, go on, you know, take that, he said. And I thanked the old lady, thanked the cop and all this, and I went out. And going out, I bumped up against this fella coming in. He was probably a private eye or something, I don't know, but I bumped up against him anyhow. And he said to me, sorry. He was in a terrible hurry. I said, it's all right. And I woke up saying, it's all right, and somebody was shaking me in the bloody bed, you know, and I had my hands so tightly clasped, and I looked into it, and Christ, I said, where's this £5 note? It wasn't there, of course. At home in Dublin there's a fellow they call the Magpie, you see, and he's always getting people into trouble. He is, yes, he got me into trouble, so it goes something like this. I stood outside the cabin door and the Magpie says, come in, and the Magpie says, come in. The door was open, I walked in and I saw something there. A maiden with a dimpled chin and she combing her black hair, and she combing her black hair. No deep surprise stood in her eyes, but yet she did not frown, but she even smiled like a pretty child. And the Magpie said, sit down, and the Magpie said, sit down. Faith, I sat down on her father's chair. The Magpie says, kiss her, and the Magpie says, kiss her. When all in haste I clasped her waist, she screamed out, oh no! But it was so nice that I kissed her twice, and the Magpie says, bravo, and the Magpie says, bravo. Now her father, he came rushing in, and swearing he began, and he caught me in his voice like grip, the grasp of an honest man, the grasp of an honest man. Yet he tore me clothes and broke me nose, I can feel it to this day. Then he heaved me into the washing tub, and the Magpie says, hooray, and the Magpie said, hooray. Little reel is called the Boys of the Loch. There's a place down in the west of Ireland called Loch Allen, and there's a little village there, and there's an inn in it, and it says the Loch Inn. And I don't mean locked in, I never did. But we might as well be for the hours we have over there. Anyhow, it's the Loch Inn, and goes something like this. down, I hope. I tell it better this way. I went out for a bit of a ride in a bus, one of the fine buses you've got here in Edinburgh, Scotland rather. And I went out to the zoo, by the way, of all places, to see some of my ancestors. However, while waiting for a bus on the return journey, I was talking to this young lady, and she said to me, I saw you, she said, in the Folk Centre. I said, you probably have. She said, you're the fiddler. I said, that's right. The only fiddler I said outside of Sandy Bell's bar. All the other fiddlers are inside. But however, she said, I was talking to her and she had lovely cultured accent and all that thing. I said, are you English? No, she said, I'm not. I'm Scots. But I'm a teacher. I'm a school teacher. Oh, I said, I see. So, but there was another young lady come up and she introduced me to her. This is, I don't know what you call her, Sally or something. And she said, she's a teacher as well. So they got into the bus, and of course, poor Pat had to pay their fare anyway, but that's beside the point. They were yapping and talking, and I saw this old girl behind us, and I was talking away to them anyhow, and one says, oh, good Lord, she says, Margaret, she said, how many children have you got now? Oh, she said, like 34, she said, like 14 boys now, she said, 20 girls. Oh, she said, lovely. Well, see? So the other one says, well, how about you? She said, how many have you got? She said, well, we had 28, she said, you know. And she said, we, you see. She said, we had 28, meaning the old teacher, I suppose. And she said, we have had 2 new ones, she said, in the last month. And she said, makes it 30. And the other one says, well, what are they? Oh, she said, a boy and a girl, you see. So I'll be there, the next thing I heard this voice behind me. And she said, excuse me, lady, says she, Faith, says she, would you be able to tell me, says she, what part of old Ireland did your husbands come from? Now, I have been in Scotland, as I tell you before, 1932 I believe it was. I was getting paid then for rambling around Scotland and collecting some songs and stories. And I used to get about £3.10 a week sent on to me, which was a fortune in those days. There were men working in tunnels and in mines, they didn't get it. But I bicycled around Scotland and collected music here, there and everywhere else. And this is a little ballad I got up in Aberdeenshire, and I never have heard it since, only in Ireland being sung, by the famous Seamus Ennis. That's the only man I ever heard singing it. And I'm very disappointed that it's not sung more in this country, believe it or not. I am very disappointed. And it's a very simple little ballad, nice little ditty, and it's Scots all the way through, you may believe it or not. So it goes something like this. Let's see. Ah, what have you in your pack? What have you on your back? Says the false knight to the child on the road. Faith, I've nothing in me pack, or nothing on me back, said the pretty little child, only 7 years old. Ah, what's rounder than the ring? What's higher than the king? Says the false knight to the child on the road. Oh, God is higher than a king, the world is rounder than a ring, said the pretty little child, only 7 years old. What's higher than a tree? What's deeper than the sea? Says the false knight to the child on the road. Heaven is higher than a tree, hell is deeper than the sea, says the pretty little child, only 7 years old. Oh, then have you got a father? Have you got a sister? And have you got a brother? Says the false knight to the child on the road. No, I've only got a father and I've only got a mother, said the pretty little child, only 7 years old. says, me curse upon your father and me curse upon your mother, says the false knight to the child on the road. Ah, a blessing on me father and a blessing on me mother, says the pretty little child, only 7 years old. Did you notice how I played it to the air of the flowers of Edinburgh? I have to go back there tonight, you see. Ah, yes, I'm sitting down again, so there's something coming. Not a snory, I suppose. Yes, somebody told me in Sandy Bells one night, I was telling them something and they told me I kissed the Blarney Stone. Well, as a matter of fact, I have. Twice.
You can tell.
I have. Thank you. I have indeed. And Phil said that he was so poor at making speeches and all that sort of thing. I'm very poor at them too, you know, so whatever. That he's coming over to kiss us sometime, and he wants me to hold his feet, by the way. And I will, don't worry. And I'm shaking, so it'll all fall out of his pockets.
I'll tell you one thing, if he pulls my boots off, he'll regret it.
Anyhow, in the days, years and years and years gone by in the hiring fairs, there was hiring fairs in Ireland, I suppose it was Scotland too, you see, and they had a bunch of people there and they were hiring maids and servant boys and other things for to milk cows and clean out houses and mow, and they hadn't mowing machines and all that. They had a thing called a raping hook that they used to pull the corn towards them, and you would have put a pull like that and so on like that. Anyhow, this old boy goes up along and he sees this little girl in, and he said to her, well, you're not hired to get in, says he. Well, no, so says she, Faith, I wasn't. And says she, me granny told me she used to get £4 for the whole year. Well, now, says he, I'll give you 3. Oh, so says she, I want 4, Faith. Says he, put out your poor arm there, and he felt her muscle anyhow, and she bent her arm, she flexed her muscles up and down like that, so well she could. But however, the next thing happens was, my dad, he hired her. Says she, now what will I call you, sir? Says she's at Master. No, says he, my name, says he, is Don Neprisanto, exactly. Right? Then says she, sir, I won't forget it. Come on, says he, what do you call that? Says he, after coming up a mile of a mucky lane, you know, on a mare and back-to-back trap. Says she, Faith, I'd call it the house, the thick, and she stopped in place anyhow. No, get in, says he, that's this great castle of straw bungle. All right, now, says he, go and light the fire, says he, in the name of goodness, says he, and I'll unyoke Peggy, says he, and I'll put her into her stable. So she went in, she lit the fire, a dutiful little girl, lit the fire and put the kettle on, and of course swept up the floor and laid the cups on the table and everything else. When Don Neprisanto came in, he thought he was in a different house altogether when he saw the table so tidy and everything else. The flour bag tablecloth was gone off it, and Faith, there was something else thrown over it, and it was white, clean, everything else, scrubbed white. So says he, you're great, get in. Well, now, so she said, I'm only doing my best. I'm only doing my best, Don, says she. So, my dad, anyhow, she started to pour water into the kettle. Says he, what do you call that, says he? Water, sir, says she. Wet, says she, whatever you like to call it, Faith, says she. No, says he, that's pondalorum, says he. Faith, and says he, all right, don't forget to get in. What do you call that, says he, you're putting that kettle over the fire, sir, says she. Tinna, agate water. No, says he, that's hot cockalorum. After the supper, anyhow, she bent down and she started to loosen the laces in his boots. And what do you call them, says he? Your shoes or your brogues, your boots, maybe, says she. No, says he, them are my hay down treaders. And don't forget to get in, says he. I won't, says she, sir. So, my dad, the next thing happens was, he shook the end of his trousers, says he, what do you call those? Your bricks, or says she, your breeches, says she, or pants. What do you like to call it yourself? No, says he. Then he says, it's my wedding crackers, he said. Oh, right, sir, says she, I won't forget it. So says he, come on now and I'll show you where you'll sleep tonight. So he brought her up the stairs, and up this little hen's ladder up to the loft, and by dad, he showed her this big mattress and it's stuffed with rushes, Faith, or benchin lucre, as they say in the Irish language. And by dad, the next thing says he, what do you call that, says he? Says she, that's the bed, the lobby, says she, where I'm going to sleep, isn't it? Well, says he, no, that's the buncle laddie. Oh, grand, says she, buncle laddie. So as they opened the door of his room, this is my room now, says he. And if ever you want anything, says he, this is the door you knock at. And as they opened the door, this bloody big black and white tomcat run out of the room. And he run down the stairs. Now, says he, what do you call him? Says she, the kitten, sir. Says she, the cat. Says she, Tom. Says she, what do you like yourself? No, says he, that's white-faced simony now, says he, and don't forget that. And said, you see where he's sitting? I do, sir. Says she, it's on the third step of the stairs. Not at all, says he, stairs be fiddled, says he. That's, says he, the wooden hill. And don't forget it, says he, Galen. I won't, sir, says she. Now, I am going to bed, says he, because I'll have to be up early in the morning. Of course, he wouldn't be up half as early. She would be milking the cows and so on like that, baking the bread and everything else. And says he, I'm going to have a sleep, because I've a lot of ploughing to do tomorrow, says he. Good night, says he, now, says he. And says he, I'll see you in the morning, see you Lacoon of Day, which means with God's help. Anyhow, away she went to bed. She swept the hearth and raked the fire. The fires are never put out in parts of Ireland. I know this for a fact myself. I'm sure some of you do too. And maybe in Scotland the same way. They rake it, put the ashes over the embers, and they have it ready for the next morning to poke it out. But however, she raked the fire, and because she went up the stairs into her little room and into her little bunkeladia now. But lay down and went to sleep. So because the next thing she heard this terrible screeching in the middle of the night, and she run down the stairs. And here she sees the poor cat. He was stretched in front of the embers. And the poor thing never seen the fire raked so well in his life. He let his tail fall into the red embers, do you see? And the coal of fire stuck to his head. Oh my God. And she looked at him, and she was afraid of him. He was going mad up the walls and breaking the death and everything. And she ran up the bloody stairs, she knocked at the door. She don't nip it sand us, says she. Put on your wearing crackers, says your head down treader, she come down the wooden hill, says she, and throw some pondalorum, says she, and white face because they've got hot coal, says she, a cockalorum on his tail, says she, and if you don't, she, this castle straw will go on fire. Now this is a jig indeed, by the way. This is a jig now, and it's called the battering ram. Now the battering ram, when you say battering ram, sheep just comes to your mind immediately. Well, it's not. It's the same thing, I'm quite sure, that happened in Scotland that happened in Ireland. A battering ram was a big long pole and about 10 men behind it, and they were battering in the doors. So this is the jig for you. Well now, this is a little thing, I'm sure you all know it. And if you go into some of the whiz joints in New York, I happen to have the pleasure of being there on one or two occasions, believe it or not. And you'll hear a bloody big jazz band going mad at this. Well, if you go down along Chinatown, you'll hear it getting the very same thing getting played like this. Harlem and go in there to Sloppy Joe's sometime. Ask him, does he know Ted Furey? He's an Italian, by the way. He'll tell you. He met me one time or another. And you'll hear the people there sitting on the steps, nursing babies, women particularly. Anyhow, yes, the women, yes. And they're sitting there and they're lullabying their babies to sleep, and it goes something like this. You have a reel here called, in Scotland, I mean, called the Hens March to the Midden, I believe. Well, our hens, they march to the Midden too, and now I mean hens, I heard that. But we have another one in Ireland called Jenny's Chickens. It's a bit faster than the Hens March, so it goes something like this. Well, we'll be seeing more of Ted and Bill later on. We'll now have an interval.
You see that fella Ted Furey? He came over here to go to Blairgowrie, the Blairgowrie Folk Festival, which was about 3 weeks ago now. He told his wife, I'll be back on Tuesday, and he's still here. His wife's not worried about him, though.
No. Short mallet.
Yeah, right there.
My friends, since I've come to Scotland, I'm really like the frustrated bushman in Australia who bought himself a new boomerang and drove himself mad trying to throw the old one away. Well, believe it or not, I'm very frustrated because everybody wants the Mason's apron. So, well, we can't all have it at one time. However, It's for a little lady here called a niece. She's not only a niece, she's an aunt as well. However, this is my rendering of it anyhow. It's good to hear you clapping, believe it. And I at the bar just a while ago, somebody said, would I give the air of the Mountains of Mourne? The Mountains of Mourne are just off the Belfast coast, off the Carnlough coast. I've been up there a couple of times, and they're a beautiful place, Northern Ireland. See Ireland first, as I say, home. But I'm seeing Scotland now from a front seat, believe it or not, through polarized glasses. That's right. Anyhow, I'm enjoying every moment and every mile of it.
That's an intro.
When I'm travelling here with Alan, he goes fairly fast. It's a mile a minute and a thrill a second, believe me. Anyhow, the Mountains of Mourne goes something like this. I don't know if I can sing it or not, but I'll do my best anyhow. Ah, Mary, this London is a wonderful sight. Faith, the people here's working all day and all night. They don't sow potatoes or barley nor wheat, but there's gangs of them digging for gold in the street. At last, when I asked them, that's what I was told. So I just took a hand for this digging at gold. But for all that I found there, I might as well be where the mountains of Mourne lead down to the sea. There's beautiful girls here, never mind, with beautiful shapes nature never designed, and lovely complexions, all roses and cream, as young Peter remarked with regards to the same. And if of those roses you happen to tape, the colour might all come away on your lip. So I'll wait for that wild rose that's waiting for me, where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea. Bid you all hear tell of O'Loughlin, of course. I met him in London at the head of the force. Yes, I met him today. I was crossing the Strand and he stopped the whole street with one wave of his hand. And there we stood talking of days that are gone, while the whole population of London looked on. But for all his great powers, yet he's wishful like me to be back where those mountains sweep down to the sea. 100 here. This is a little reel I collected in Aberdeen here, up at, bless my soul, for that Peterhead. And I was in there visiting the jail as a visitor, by the way. Sure. I collected from a fellow called Peter Hutchison. He was a crofter, a fisherman there, and his father. Very nice people. I spent a fortnight there and I had a wonderful time. And he was an accordion player and a piper, and a wonderful musician he was. He gave me this reel, and after 35 years, I think it still sounds good. Oh, by the way, it's called Kieran Gorham. I wanted to know what Kieran Gorham meant, and they told me what it meant, and I went there to see it, where they picked up a stone. I got some stones there too. I got them out since they were gallstones, by the way. Anyhow, and I'm not doing it justice, I'm afraid, but I'm doing my very best, and I hope you will bear with me. I'm just doing my best. I just can't do it justice. It's a beautiful reel, and I'm very fond of it. Now, I'm going to play a reel called The Tap Room. You're sitting in it right now. But this reel was composed in Sandy Bell's in Edinburgh, by the way. It's for all those fellows with the broken pledge. Oh, by the way, when I spoke of broken, I remember an American coming into O'Donoghue's in Dublin. No bloody commercials now, that's no. He came into O'Donoghue's, and I had a little horseshoe on the lapel of my good coat, by the way. It's in the pawn now. However, Yank was looking around, a big cigar in his mouth, and he said, what's this round thing you've got in your coat, lapel? So this fellow told him, Mister, he said, I'm a Gaelic speaker, an Irish speaker. He said, I speak my mother tongue, he says, and this proves that I have English as well as Irish, you see. So, next thing happens was, anyhow, that he said, he said, you got this ring. He said, gold in it? Yes. Your man said, it's gold. Yes, sir, I said, it's gold. Yeah, well, he said, what's that in that glass? He said, it's Guinness, sir, he said. Well, he said, give this man a large Guinness. So, the next thing happens was, he got a large Guinness, and he started to translate from and all transpose and all the thing, whatever the hell he was doing it. So he come over anyhow to me, I was playing, and he said to me, I say, you got a ring in your coat too, he says, but there's a bit out of it, he said. Oh, that's right, sir. I said, that means that I speak broken Irish, I said. The Tap Room Reel, Sandy Bell's favourite. this leg has 4 short, this chair has 4 short legs or something, right? Yes. Did I hear somebody saying something? Oh, you'd want Joe Heaney for that, I'm afraid. Not me, I'm not everybody. I'm getting too old. Yes, I was informed, by the way, in Edinburgh the other night that Joe Heaney is coming back to Scotland to do a tour of Scotland. He's like me, he's so in love with it. He's coming back to do a tower. And I'm quite sure that all of you will be very pleased and very happy to meet him. He's a wonderful man, believe me, he's a wonderful man, a wonderful singer. And now that he's gone to America, in Ireland we say, oh, he was a great man. He was a great man, yes. But when he was there, he was like myself, no good. Now that I'm away from it for a little while, I hope they'll miss me. I know they won't. They tell me in Scotland when I go they're going to miss me, but they won't miss me for long, believe you me, I'll be back. This is a thing called Androinan Dun. It's known as the blackthorn, or the black. It's known as the shillelagh stick that they used to put down their back one time to scratch it like this. You know, very handy thing. So we'll have it. There's a special dance to this, and it's done with a stick, and it's not like you do the sword dance here. I was just going to say, I thought those young ladies were leaving us. I was going to say 2 more satisfied customers going away, you know. I heard that in Edinburgh, by the way. Please, if there's anything I can play for you, all of you, and it doesn't matter, any of you, if there's anything at all that I can play for you.
Dark Island.
No, I never play any Scots music. Unfortunately, I'm afraid I don't. But Connacht Man's Anglers, yeah. some young lady by the name of Mara asked me would I play something for her, so I'll play Mara, my girl, will I? No? Well, I won't. I'll play you something else instead. This is Connery's. This is a thing called Connery's. It's a beautiful thing, and Nicholas Bean sings. It's a beautiful song, and this is the man that gave it to me. I jotted it down when he was singing it one night in Ring in Clancy's house, Liam Clancy's house, and he's a wonderful, fine singer, wonderful fellow. So this is Connery's.
I might explain for any guitarists in the audience that although I've been accompanying Ted for the past couple of weeks, he's got some fantastic repertoire. Every night he plays about 15 new tunes to me, you know.
All lies.
If you hear any bad chords from me, it's because I've never heard the tune before.
All lies. Don't real mind him at all. He's telling lies, don't He's always, we do this, you know, this is part of the program, you see, we praise one another, you know, I say he's the best accompanist I ever had. I know he isn't, but and he knows it, but however.
You lying swine.
And of course the next thing happens is he tells me that I play 15 different tunes. I don't think I've got 15 tunes altogether. This is one from the very famous Sean McGuire. I hope I can do it. I'm afraid I can't emulate him. I can't even ape him, but it's very difficult. But it goes something like this anyhow. I told you I couldn't do it. Yes, I got the other foot up at last, thank God. Great man. I think I told you the last time I was here about myself at home in Dublin, at least in Dublin anyhow. I don't know about here. I'm beginning to believe it about Edinburgh too. You couldn't get anywhere if you hadn't got a beard, you see. So I started, grow one, sprout one and all, and I was shaking seeds and everything and all night and all. I got it to come along all right. And the damn thing would insist on going out that way, turning in this way, And it was something like, see, on a pack of cards, the king of clubs or spades and power. I used to shave it in here and shave it down here and all that thing, and I had a beautiful little... But anyhow, the missus could never get asleep. She said, for God's sake, she said, try and shave that off, Ted. She said, I just can't get asleep, she said. Well, good God, I said, what the hell, when you're lying face to the wall, I said, it's surely not tickling your back or something like that. And I said, I lie all the time on my right side, I said, with my hand beneath my head, and I'm all the time turned away from you. I said, what the hell is wrong with you? She said, no, it's not that. It's not the way you lie, she said at all. But she said, all night long, she said, you keep fiddling with your whiskers and I can't get asleep. So. Now this is a little girl that I know well. I knew her mother. She was very rich. She kept chickens in Dublin one time. She's known as the Sligo Maid. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thinking strongly of leaving you all tomorrow, going home. And for a week at least, anyhow. Well, I would like Oh, don't worry, I'll make no mistake. But I want to thank all of you for being so very kind, and all of those friends that I've got in Edinburgh and Blair Gowrie and St Andrews and all that thing. I don't have any words adequate enough to thank you. So the only thing I can say, and believe it, I mean, is thank all of you very much. You're very good health.
I might say that Ted, as every weekend passes, he's thought of going home the next day. We persuaded him to stay another week by asking him to come to St Andrews today. I don't know whether he'll be staying on anymore, but anyway, as he says, he'll be coming back.